I stand frozen behind the oak tree, watching my mother-in-law's lips move with practiced venom. Her voice carries across the backyard, riding the smoke from the grill like a poison seeking its target. Ryan could have done so much better. That woman is nothing but a gold digger with her eyes on our family's money. The laughter that follows slices through me like shattered glass. I'm Amelia. And this is the moment I decide to destroy Margaret Carter's carefully constructed world of country club memberships and social superiority. My fingers dig into the rough bark as I watch her hold court among her friends, all of them nodding along like well-trained puppets. The pearls around her neck catch the afternoon sun, matching the gleam of malice in her eyes. 3 years of enduring her subtle jabs and backhanded compliments, and this is what it comes down to. Did you hear how she maxed out Ryan's credit card last month? Margaret's voice drops to a stage whisper. My poor boy works so hard as a teacher, and she's bleeding him dry. I almost laugh. If she only knew about the 3 tech companies I've built and sold. Or the offshore accounts that would make her family's supposed wealth look like pocket change. But Ryan wanted us to live modestly, to prove we weren't about the money. What a fucking joke that turned out to be. Amelia? Ryan's voice startles me. He's standing there with 2 glasses of wine, concern etched across his face. What are you doing behind the tree? Just listening to your mother's latest performance. My voice comes out steady, surprising even me. She's really outdone herself this time. His face falls. You know how she gets after a few glasses of wine. Just ignore. Don't. I cut him off. Don't make excuses for her. Not anymore. He reaches for my hand, but I step back. Through the gap in the branches, I can see Grace, Ryan's sister. Shifting uncomfortably as Margaret launches into another story about my supposed spending habits. I need to leave, I say, already walking toward the house. Amelia, please. Ryan follows me. Let's just talk about this. I spin around, nearly causing him to spill the wine. Talk about what, Ryan? How your mother has been systematically trying to destroy my reputation since the day we got married. How you've never once stood up to her. That's not fair. What's not fair is watching the man I love stand by while his mother tears me apart. My voice cracks, and I hate myself for it. Do you know what the worst part is? I could buy and sell this entire neighborhood 10 times over. But I've been living like a middle school teacher's wife because you wanted to prove we're not about money. His eyes widen. We'd agreed never to discuss my wealth with his family, but right now, I don't care about our promises. Amelia. Margaret's voice rings out, sickeningly sweet. Leaving so soon, dear? I turn to face her, and something inside me shifts. The hurt crystallizes into something harder, colder. More dangerous. Actually, Margaret, I think I'll stay. I smile, and it feels like baring teeth. I wouldn't want to miss any more of your colorful stories about me. She blanches slightly, but recovers quickly. Oh, I was just telling the ladies about your shopping habits. We're all so concerned about Ryan's finances. Are you? I step closer, close enough to smell her expensive perfume. How thoughtful of you to worry about our finances. I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to discuss money in the coming months. I leave her standing there, confusion warring with suspicion on her face. Ryan calls after me, but I keep walking. In my mind, plans are already taking shape, elegant, devastating plans that will make Margaret Carter wish she'd never questioned my worth. Let her think she's won this round. I've got time, money, and nothing left to lose except the facade of the dutiful daughter-in-law. Game on, Margaret. Game fucking on. The silence in our bedroom feels like a living thing, growing heavier with each tick of the clock. Ryan paces, his shadow cutting across the wall like a pendulum. I sit at my vanity, methodically removing my jewelry, each piece hitting the tray with a deliberate clink. You can't just declare war on my mother, he finally says. Watch me. I meet his eyes in the mirror. Unless you prefer I continue being her punching bag? He stops pacing. That's not fair. You know she's just protective. Protective? I spin around. Is that what we're calling public humiliation now? The doorbell rings, saving him from responding. Footsteps thunder up the stairs, and Grace bursts in without knocking, her face flushed. Mom's on the warpath, she announces, dropping onto our bed. She's already called Aunt Susan and half the country club about your disturbing behavior at the barbecue. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. Of course she has. Heaven forbid anyone question St. Margaret's version of events. Amelia, Ryan warns, but Grace cuts him off. No, Ryan, she's right. Mom's being horrible. Grace sits up, her eyes bright. You should have heard her at dinner. She's convinced Amelia's going to bankrupt you and run off with some tech millionaire. If she only knew. The irony makes me want to scream. Your mother needs to understand that actions have consequences, I say, standing up. And I'm done playing the meek daughter-in-law. Ryan runs his hands through his hair. What exactly are you planning? Nothing she hasn't earned. I walk to the closet, pulling out my laptop bag. But first, I need to make a call. It's almost midnight, Ryan protests. Different time zone. I head for the door, but Grace catches my arm. Whatever you're planning, she whispers, I want in. Mom needs to learn she can't control everything. I study her face, seeing the years of frustration written there. Are you sure? This could get messy. I'm sure. Her grip tightens. Besides, someone needs to keep you from going full scorched earth. Ryan steps between us. Both of you need to stop. We can fix this like adults. I'll talk to Mom. Like you've been talking to her for the past 3 years? I shake my head. No more talks, Ryan. It's time for action. My phone buzzes, Liam's calling. Perfect timing. I need to take this, I say, moving toward the door. You two should discuss where you stand, because this train's leaving the station with or without you. In the hallway, I hear Ryan's muffled voice, Grace, you can't encourage this. Her response is clear and sharp, someone has to stand up to her, Ryan. If not us, then who? I smile, heading downstairs to the kitchen. Liam's voice greets me through the speaker. Tell me you haven't killed anyone yet. Not yet, I reply, opening my laptop. But I need access to those offshore accounts we set up after the last company sale. Jesus, Ames. What are you planning? Remember that charity foundation we discussed? I type in my passwords, watching numbers scroll across the screen. Time to make it active. Very, very active. Margaret, he asks, knowing me too well. Margaret, I confirm. She wants to paint me as a gold digger? Fine. Let's show her what real money looks like. This is going to blow up in your face, he warns, but I can hear him typing. How much do you need? I name a figure that makes him whistle. That's not revenge, Ames. That's nuclear war. No, I correct him, hearing footsteps on the stairs. That's just the opening move. Ryan appears in the doorway, his face set in determination. We need to talk. I'll call you back, I tell Liam, closing the laptop. Ready to pick a side, husband? He meets my gaze, and for the first time tonight, I see something other than conflict in his eyes. I pick us, he says quietly. But whatever you're planning, there has to be limits. I stand, walking to him slowly. Limits are what got us here. Your mother certainly doesn't believe in them. He takes my hands, and I feel the slight tremor in his. Promise me you won't destroy our family completely. I kiss him softly, tasting the fear and love mingled on his lips. I promise to leave enough pieces for rebuilding. But first, some things need to burn. The black Amex card hits the counter with a satisfying thunk. The saleswoman's eyes widen, She knows Ryan's teacher's salary couldn't possibly qualify for this level of credit. I smile, channeling Margaret's country club superiority as I gesture to the display case. I'll take the full set. And the matching earrings. 3 hours and 6 boutiques later, I'm surrounded by shopping bags in our driveway when Margaret's Mercedes pulls up. Perfect timing. She steps out, her face twisting into exactly the expression I'd hoped for. Retail therapy? Her voice drips with manufactured concern. Just a little shopping for the charity gala next month. I deliberately fumble with the bags, letting her see the designer names. Ryan's been so generous lately. Her nostrils flare. Has he now? I check my watch. Ryan should be home from school any minute. The trap is set. Would you like to come in, Margaret? I'd love your opinion on these pieces. She follows me inside, practically vibrating with righteous indignation. I spread the purchases across the dining room table: jewelry, designer clothes. A limited edition handbag that costs more than Ryan makes in 2 months. This is unconscionable, Margaret finally explodes. You're bleeding my son dry. The front door opens. Right on schedule. Mom? Ryan calls out. What are you doing here? He enters the dining room and freezes, taking in the explosion of luxury goods. His face pales. Amelia, what is all this? Your wife's latest spending spree, Margaret cuts in. On your credit cards. I maintain my carefully crafted smile. Don't worry, darling. We can afford it. We most certainly cannot. Ryan picks up a price tag and nearly chokes. This is more than my yearly salary. Margaret pounces. I've been warning you about this, Ryan. She's using you for your money, and now she's not even trying to hide it. The doorbell rings again. Grace walks in, followed by Tommy. My audience is complete. What's going on? Grace asks, eyeing the table. Your brother's wife is finally showing her true colors, Margaret announces. Look at this obscene display of. Actually, I interrupt, I think it's time for some truth-telling. I pull out my phone, opening my banking app. Ryan, remember when you insisted we keep my finances private? Well, I think that arrangement has expired. Margaret scoffs. What finances? Everyone knows you were practically penniless when you married Ryan. I turn my phone toward her, watching her face as she processes the number on the screen. Her mouth opens and closes without sound. That's just one account, I say softly. Would you like to see the others? The room goes deadly quiet. Ryan sinks into a chair, while Grace lets out a low whistle. I don't understand, Margaret stammers. No, you don't. I step closer to her. You never bothered to understand anything about me. You were too busy assuming I was after your family's modest wealth to realize I could buy this entire neighborhood without blinking. Tommy clears his throat. Margaret, perhaps we should. No, she cuts him off. This is obviously some kind of trick. Some elaborate deception to. To what? I laugh. To prove that your precious family money means nothing to me? Mission accomplished. Ryan stands suddenly. You did all this to prove a point? No, I turn to him, my voice softening. I did this because your mother has spent 3 years spreading rumors about me, questioning my character, and undermining our marriage. And you let her. So this was all revenge? Grace asks. This was truth, I correct her. And we're just getting started. Margaret straightens her spine. Well, if you think this changes anything. Oh, it changes everything, I interrupt. Because tomorrow morning, I'm announcing a new charitable foundation. The Carter Foundation for Educational Excellence. And guess who's going to be very publicly excluded from the board? The color drains from Margaret's face as she realizes the social implications. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I begin gathering the shopping bags. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to return all this. It was just for show. Unlike some people, I don't actually need to flaunt my wealth to feel superior. As they file out, Ryan remains, staring at me like he's never seen me before. Was any of it real? He whispers. Every moment with you was real, I answer. Everything else was just theater for your mother's benefit. The question is, what's real for you? He doesn't answer, and I don't wait for him to try. Liam's penthouse feels like a sanctuary after 3 days of Ryan's silence. I stand at the floor-to-ceiling windows, watching the city lights blur through my third glass of wine. You look like hell, Liam says, refilling my glass. Margaret's cutting Ryan out of the inheritance. I press my forehead against the cool glass. She made the announcement at their weekly family dinner. The one I wasn't invited to. Isn't that exactly what you wanted? To prove she's the manipulative one? I turn to face him. Ryan hasn't spoken to me since the shopping incident. He's sleeping in the guest room. Ah. Liam settles into his leather armchair. So the plan's working perfectly, except for the small detail of destroying your marriage. My phone buzzes, a text from Grace. Mom's telling everyone you're having an affair. With a wealthy investor. Says she has proof. Fuck. I throw the phone onto the couch. She's escalating. What now? Before I can answer, my phone rings. Ryan's face appears on the screen. I answer on speaker. Where are you? His voice is tight, controlled. Working late with Liam. A pause. At his penthouse? The accusation hits me like a slap. Are you serious? Mom showed me the photos. My wine glass slips from my fingers, shattering on the hardwood. Liam jumps up, but I wave him off. What photos, Ryan? You entering his building. Multiple nights this month. The expensive restaurants. The late meetings. His voice cracks. Were you laughing at me this whole time? The poor teacher husband while you played with your tech millionaire friend? Ryan. Just tell me one thing. Was this all a game? Marrying me, hiding your wealth, this revenge against my mother, was it all just entertainment for you and Liam? Liam reaches for the phone, but I stop him. Come to the penthouse, I say. See for yourself what's really happening. I don't think. 30 minutes. Or you can believe your mother's lies and throw away 3 years of marriage. Your choice. The line goes dead. Liam starts cleaning up the broken glass. You know this is exactly what Margaret wanted, he says. To make you look like the villain. She's had me followed. I laugh, but it sounds more like a sob. All this time I thought I was the one in control. You still are. Liam stands, glass fragments tinkling in his palm. But you need to decide what matters more, winning against Margaret or saving your marriage. I don't know anymore. I sink onto the couch. When did I become the person who'd risk everything just to prove a point? When Margaret Carter made you feel worthless. He dumps the glass in the trash. But you're not playing her game anymore, Ames. You're playing something much more dangerous. The elevator dings. Ryan steps out, looking exhausted. His eyes take in the broken glass, the wine, Liam's concerned face. Show me, he says. I pull out my laptop, opening files I'd hoped never to share. Security footage of Margaret hiring the private investigator. Email threads showing her methodical campaign to discredit me at every charity board and social club in town. Bank statements proving she'd tried to access information about my finances months before the barbecue incident. She's been planning this for years, I say quietly. Waiting for the right moment to prove I was exactly who she claimed I was. And instead of telling me, you decided to play right into her hands. Ryan's voice is hollow. You became exactly what she accused you of being. No, Liam interrupts. She became what your mother feared most, someone powerful enough to challenge her control over you. Ryan looks at me, really looks at me, for the first time in days. What happens now? I close the laptop. That depends on you. I can keep fighting this war with your mother, or we can leave. Start fresh somewhere she can't touch us. No more games, no more secrets. Running away won't solve anything, he says, but I hear the longing in his voice. Neither will staying to fight a battle that's already cost us too much. The city lights flicker behind us, casting shadows that hide as much as they reveal. In the silence, I realize we're all waiting to see which version of truth will finally break this stalemate of lies. The invitation to the Carter Foundation Gala sits on my desk like a loaded gun. I've spent the morning signing checks with enough zeros to make Margaret's inheritance look like pocket change. Each signature feels like another nail in someone's coffin, I'm just not sure whose anymore. My phone lights up with Grace's text, Mom's planning something for the gala. Dad's trying to talk her down, but she's beyond reason. The door opens and Ryan walks in, still wearing his teaching clothes. He looks older somehow, worn down by the weight of choices neither of us should have had to make. The school board accepted my resignation, he says quietly. My hand freezes mid-signature. You didn't tell me you were resigning. You didn't tell me you were buying the entire east wing of the hospital in your maiden name. I set down the pen. That was supposed to be a surprise for the gala announcement. Like the surprise of finding out my mother's been admitted for anxiety attacks? Or the surprise of discovering you've been systematically buying up every company she's invested in? The accusation hangs between us like poison gas. Before I can respond, Liam calls. Turn on the news, he says without preamble. Channel 8. The TV flickers to life, showing Margaret standing outside her country club. She's wearing her perfectly pressed tennis whites, her face a mask of concerned motherly worry. Deeply concerned about the mental state of my daughter-in-law, she's saying. The excessive spending, the erratic behavior. We're organizing an intervention because we love her and want to help. Ryan mutes the TV. She's playing her final card. She's trying to make me look unstable. I laugh, but it sounds unhinged even to my ears. Perfect timing, right before I announce the foundation. Are you? His voice is careful, measured. Unstable? I stand, walking to the window. Below, I can see reporters already gathering at our gate. Would an unstable person have orchestrated all this? The foundation, the hospital wing, the systematic dismantling of your mother's social standing? That's not an answer, Amelia. My phone buzzes again. Tommy Carter's name appears on the screen. I've never received a call from Ryan's father before. Hello? Amelia. His voice is grave. Margaret's had another episode. She's being transferred to the psychiatric ward. The irony hits me like a physical blow. Which hospital? The one you just bought. I end the call, turning to Ryan. Your mother's being committed. To my hospital. He sinks into a chair. This has to stop. It will. At the gala. I pick up the invitation. When everyone sees exactly who your mother really is. And who you've become. The question strikes harder than he probably intended. I look at my reflection in the window, designer suit, perfect makeup. Eyes burning with something that looks uncomfortably like Margaret's determination. The gala invitations went out this morning, I say instead of answering. Every social contact your mother has ever cultivated will be there. The hospital board, the country club committee, the charity league. You're going to destroy her. She tried to have me committed. And you drove her to a psychiatric ward. We stare at each other across the room that suddenly feels too small for all our unspoken accusations. My phone rings again, Grace. Mom's asking for you, she says when I answer. She says she'll tell everyone the truth at the gala. About everything. What truth? I don't know. But Amelia. She hesitates. She's not faking this breakdown. I end the call, feeling the weight of every decision I've made pressing down on me. The foundation announcement. The hospital wing. The carefully orchestrated revenge that's spiraled so far beyond my control. The gala's tomorrow, I tell Ryan. Whatever truth your mother thinks she has, whatever game she's playing. It ends there. He stands, straightening his tie like he's preparing for battle. You're right. It ends tomorrow. One way or another. As he leaves, I look back at my reflection. The woman staring back at me looks exactly like what Margaret always feared: powerful, ruthless, dangerous. I wonder when I stopped trying to prove her wrong and started proving her right. The ballroom of the Grand Plaza sparkles like a minefield of crystal and champagne. I stand at the podium, scanning faces in the crowd, society matrons clutching their pearls, board members shifting in their seats. Ryan's family huddled together like survivors of a shipwreck. The only person missing is Margaret. Ladies and gentlemen, I begin, my voice carrying across the hushed room. Welcome to the inaugural Carter Foundation Gala. The double doors burst open. Margaret glides in, still wearing her hospital gown beneath Tommy's suit jacket. The whispers start immediately, rippling through the crowd like wind through dry leaves. Sorry I'm late, she announces, her voice clear and steady. I wouldn't miss my daughter-in-law's big moment. Ryan starts to rise, but Grace pulls him back down. I continue as if nothing's happened. Tonight marks the beginning of a new chapter in educational funding. Tell them, Amelia. Margaret walks closer, her hospital bracelet catching the light. Tell them about the real foundation of your wealth. My prepared speech crumples in my fist. Security. About how you orchestrated this whole charade. She's halfway to the podium now. About the shell companies? The insider trading? The room goes deadly silent. Liam appears at my elbow, whispering urgently, she's bluffing. But I see the folder in Margaret's hand, recognize the logo of the private investigator she hired. The same one who followed me to Liam's penthouse. Mrs. Carter, I say into the microphone, perhaps we should discuss this privately. Like you discussed buying control of my hospital privately? She reaches the stage. Or how you privately manipulated the stock of every company I invested in. Ryan stands now, moving toward us. Mother, that's enough. No. She opens the folder. Your wife isn't just a gold digger, Ryan. She's a fraud. And I can prove it. The room spins slightly. I see Grace's horrified face, Tommy's resigned expression, the hungry eyes of the society vultures ready to feast on my downfall. These documents, Margaret continues, show a pattern of illegal trading dating back to her first company. The wealth she's been flaunting? Built on fraud. That's impossible, Liam cuts in. I handled those deals myself. He stops, realizing too late what he's admitted. The whispers grow louder. Yes, Margaret smiles. You did. And now you're both implicated. My carefully constructed revenge crumbles like a house of cards. I look at Ryan, see the doubt creeping into his eyes. The SEC has copies of everything, Margaret announces to the room. They're very interested in the Carter Foundation's funding sources. The microphone feedback shrieks as I step back. Faces blur together, accusatory, triumphant, shocked. All my power, all my careful planning, undone by the one thing I never suspected Margaret would find. You want truth? My voice sounds strange, distant. Here's truth. I did everything you accused me of. The trading, the manipulation, all of it. Because people like you, Margaret, people born into privilege, never believed someone like me could succeed honestly. Amelia, Ryan warns, but I'm beyond warnings now. So yes, I broke laws. I cut corners. I became exactly what you always thought I was. I laugh, and it sounds like breaking glass. Congratulations, Margaret. You finally caught the gold digger you were looking for. Security's here, Liam murmurs. We need to leave. Now. Through the chaos, I see Grace crying, Tommy holding Margaret with something like pride, and Ryan, Ryan standing absolutely still, watching me with eyes I no longer recognize. "I'm sorry," I whisper, though I'm not sure who I'm apologizing to anymore. As security approaches, I feel Margaret's triumph like a physical weight. She didn't just destroy my revenge, she proved herself right. Liam grabs my arm, pulling me toward the service exit. The last thing I see is Ryan, turning away as his mother's victory becomes my complete destruction. I wanted to prove Margaret wrong about who I was. Instead, I proved her right about who I'd become. The hotel suite feels like a prison cell, even with its luxury furnishings. I've been here for 3 hours when there's a knock at the door. Not Liam with more legal updates. Not the SEC agents who've been circling like vultures. Grace stands in the hallway, holding a manila envelope. "Mom sent me," she says, stepping inside. "To gloat? To deliver these." She hands me the envelope. The original documents. She's keeping copies, of course. I dump the contents onto the coffee table, years of financial records, trading patterns, corporate structures I'd thought were buried forever. Why? Because she wants to make a deal. The door opens again. Margaret walks in, still wearing Tommy's jacket over her hospital gown. She looks smaller somehow, more human, but her eyes are sharp as ever. "Leave us, Grace." Grace hesitates, then squeezes my hand before going. The click of the door feels like a jail cell closing. "Quite the performance tonight," Margaret says, settling into an armchair. "You really had everyone fooled. Including Ryan. Like you fooled everyone with your convenient breakdown?" I remain standing. The hospital stay was a nice touch. Oh, the breakdown was real. She smooths her gown. "Finding out your daughter-in-law is actually a criminal mastermind can do that to a person." "What do you want, Margaret?" "The same thing I've always wanted." She leans forward. "My son's happiness." I laugh. By destroying his wife? By saving him from someone who never loved him enough to be honest. The words hit harder than any SEC investigation. "You don't know anything about my love for Ryan. I know you loved winning more." She gestures at the scattered documents. "Every move you made wasn't about proving your worth, it was about proving you could beat me. You started this war. And you became exactly what I accused you of being to win it." Her voice softens. "We're more alike than you think, Amelia. The truth of it burns like acid." "The deal, Margaret." "What is it?" "Leave. Tonight. Sign over control of the foundation to Ryan, admit to the fraud, take the fall. I'll make sure Liam stays clear of any investigation." "And if I refuse?" "Then we all burn together." She stands. "Ryan, me, you, Liam, everyone loses everything." My phone buzzes, a text from Ryan. "Are you still the woman I married?" "He'll never forgive you," I say. "He'll heal. But if you stay, if you fight this, he'll spend years watching both of us destroy each other in court." She moves to the door. "You have 1 hour to decide." After she leaves, I stare at the documents, at the evidence of every compromise, every shortcut, every decision that led me here. My phone buzzes again, Liam this time, SEC offering deal. Limited immunity for testimony against larger players. The irony hits me, Margaret and I both tried to protect Ryan in our own twisted ways. Both of us too proud, too certain of our own righteousness to see what we were becoming. I pick up my phone, typing quickly, "I accept the deal." Not to Margaret. To the SEC. The door opens one final time. Ryan stands there, looking as exhausted as I feel. "I got your message," he says. "Which one?" "Both." He steps inside. "The SEC agents and the one about still being the woman you were." "And?" "I don't know anymore." He picks up one of the documents. "But I know who you are right now, in this moment, matters more than who either of you tried to make each other be." I take the paper from him, adding it to the pile. I'm turning myself in. Full confession. Your mother, Liam, everyone else stays clear. That's not. The woman you married would have done the right thing from the start. I meet his eyes. Maybe I can be her again by doing it now. He doesn't try to stop me as I gather the documents. Doesn't offer false comfort or easy forgiveness. Just watches as I choose, finally, to end this war not with victory or defeat, but with truth. Sometimes winning means being the first to surrender. The visiting room at the minimum security facility smells like industrial cleaner and stale coffee. Margaret sits across from me, her perfect posture unchanged by the plastic chair. We stare at each other through the morning light, two generals surveying the battlefield after the war. The Foundation's doing well, she says finally. Ryan's expanded the scholarship program. I know. I fold my hands on the table. Grace sends me the quarterly reports. She misses you. Margaret smooths her skirt, a nervous gesture I've never seen before. We all do, in our own ways. Even you? Especially me. She meets my eyes. It's quiet without a worthy opponent. I almost laugh at that. Almost. Is that why you're here? To reminisce about our little war? I'm here because it's time. She places a folder between us. The SEC has reviewed your cooperation. With my statement and Tommy's influence on the board. I don't want your help, Margaret. This isn't help. It's acknowledgement. She pushes the folder closer. We destroyed each other so completely that there's nothing left to fight over. I open the folder, early release recommendations, character statements, documentation of my complete cooperation. A path back to freedom, wrapped in Margaret Carter's precise handwriting. Why? Because you chose truth over victory. She leans back. In the end, you became better than both of us. The door opens. Ryan walks in, looking older in his suit and tie, the new Foundation director's uniform. He carries a small potted plant, barely surviving in its plastic container. The garden at home needed thinning, he says, setting it between us. Thought you might want something green in here. Margaret stands, touching my shoulder as she passes, the first time she's ever initiated contact. I'll leave you too. After she's gone, Ryan takes her place. We sit in silence, watching the weak sunlight struggle through the plant's leaves. You could have taken her deal that night, he says. Could have run, started over somewhere else. And proved her right about everything? Instead, you proved her wrong by proving her right. He almost smiles. That's the kind of logic that got us here. I touch one of the plant's leaves. I thought revenge would feel different. More satisfying. And how does truth feel? Expensive. I look around the visiting room. But cleaner, somehow. He reaches across the table, taking my hand. His wedding ring catches the light, he's still wearing it, after everything. The Foundation board meets next week, he says. They're reviewing applications for the new executive director position. Ryan. Someone with technical expertise. Financial background. A proven record of learning from mistakes. I withdraw my hand. I'm a convicted felon. You're someone who chose truth when lies would have been easier. He stands. The interview's next Thursday, if you're interested. Mom's vote counts double as board chair. My laugh echoes off the institutional walls. Now that's revenge. No. He touches the plant again. That's growth. After he leaves, I sit alone, watching shadows move across the table. Margaret and I had both been right about each other, and completely wrong. She'd seen the ruthlessness in me, the capacity for destruction. I'd seen the manipulation in her, the need for control. What neither of us had seen was the possibility of something beyond winning or losing. The guard appears to escort me back to my cell. On the table, the plant's leaves stretch toward the window, finding light in the most unlikely place. I leave the folder where it lies. Whatever comes next, freedom, redemption, reconciliation, will come on its own terms, not Margaret's or mine. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemy. Sometimes it's about becoming someone they never imagined you could be, someone you never imagined you could be. Even if that journey leads through a prison cell, a broken family, and a tiny plant reaching for the light. Especially then.